All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. We have Sunday Night Football week number 3 in the NFL. We got the Raiders taking on the Steelers. At the time of recording, the Raiders are 2.5-point favorites at home. The total sitting at 43. I have a game pick for the spread as well as the total, and then I have 2 player props as well. So 4 picks to go into in today's video, guys. Before we jump into it, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well. We are cruising to 30,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Seriously, like, the support from the launch of the football season has been absolutely stellar. So if you want to show your support, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment down below, but I cannot thank you guys enough. Why don't we jump right into this game here? So Las Vegas and the Steelers both 1-1 straight up and 1-1 against the spread, as well as 1-1 in terms of over under. So very similar against the spread in records so far. Like I already said, Las Vegas is favored here at home, -2.5. They're coming off of a loss to Buffalo, almost like a predicted slated loss in my opinion. You knew Buffalo had to bounce back at some point, and they are a better team than this Las Vegas team. Pittsburgh coming off of a little Monday Night Football win against Cleveland. Weird game. Nick Chubb injury didn't look all that great. You look at the final score and you're kind of like, oh wow, a 48-point finish. Like, that's way more than the total, almost beating the total by 10, but it didn't really seem like a fast-paced game or anything. So weird Monday Night Football game. And the worst thing about this matchup is that it isn't the sexy matchup. Like, I don't love what we're seeing here, but I did manage to find 2 plays on this game that I'm confident in, and then 2 additional player props as well. So in terms of what we're looking at first, we'll start with the spread. I am going to go ahead and roll with Las Vegas minus the 2.5 points. I think they're a better team. They didn't look it against Buffalo. They didn't have the best of game against the Denver Broncos in week number 1. Jimmy Garoppolo, 20 of 26, though, with 2 touchdowns, only 200 yards thrown and an interception there. Josh Jacobs yet to get going as well. But I do think that this Raiders team has the pieces. You know, if Garoppolo's playing well, then you have Josh Jacobs able to kind of perform like the Josh Jacobs we know. The idea that, you know, you have Austin Hooper, Jacoby Myers, and Devontae Adams all ready to catch passes is pretty stellar. Now, I'm not saying Pittsburgh doesn't have guys. They do. We've yet seen Najee Harris kind of ramp up. And obviously, you know, Freiermuth, Pickens, plenty of guys. Deontay Johnson still out. Kenny Pickett, it kind of all comes down to him. I think that these 2 teams, both are kind of on the rocks right now. So I'm going to trust the team that, 1 is more veteran status, and that is the Raiders. And then 2, the team that I do think has a little bit more talent. Like, we're talking one of the best receivers in the league in Devontae Adams, you know? So I'm going to lean towards, or actually roll with, the Raiders minus 2.5 as our first pick. But like I said, both these teams kind of on the rocks. I think it's a get-right spot for, honestly, both offenses. So I'm looking at the total, and you might think I'm crazy. We'll sound the psycho alert alarm. I'm looking at that total, and I think they blow away 43 here. So if we jump into Outlier, by the way, sponsor of the show, if you do want to check out this tool, I have a link in the pinned comment. 7 days free, and if you use code GUYBOSTON, you get 25% off your first month after that free trial. So if we look at the spread, let's make sure we're getting the best line here. We have right now DraftKings at -115. The average odds are -118. We will take that. You can get that on DraftKings, Barstool, or FanDuel. Then in terms of the total, you know, if we really do like this over, it's actually available for a little bit more juice over on Barstool at 42.5. I don't think we'll have any problem with the 43 number right here. And obviously the book that we have access to, I'm looking right now, DraftKings -108. So that is going to be the play there. Again, this is a really, really good tool, guys. We'll go into the sportsbook screen right now, just so you can see how crazy the amount of data that is in this OddsJam tool. You always want the best lines when it comes to sports betting. Why would you pay 10 grand for a car? I've said it before. If you can mosey on down the street, buy the same exact car at a different dealership for 7 grand, right? But look at this. You can compare pretty much every single available prop, play, anything like that. Look at what all sportsbooks out there are offering, so you know the best odds you're getting. Make sure to go check out OddsJam, guys. Again, that link is in the pinned comment as well as the description. If you use that link, you get 7 days free. On top of that, if you use promo code GUYBOSTON, this information is going to be in that pinned comment. Promo code GUYBOSTON, you get 25% off your first month there. So like I said, we're looking at that total 43 and over. Why is that? It's a get-right spot for both of these offenses, and I think it's a get-right spot for their run game. Now, you might be thinking, run game? What the hell? Like, that means it's going to be a low-scoring game, right? No, this is like an amazing opportunity for both Najee Harris to get going, as well as Josh Jacobs. Neither one of those guys we've totally seen sort of take off this season. Right now, the Steelers, through 2 weeks, and yes, they did play against Christian McCaffrey, so throw that caveat in there. They're 32nd in rush yards allowed. The Raiders, 27th. So you have the worst team and the 5th worst team in terms of preventing the run. I like both of these running backs to get going, and when running backs get going and the running back and the running game gets going, that's just going to open up the offense. It allows a young quarterback like Kenny Pickett to not be pressured into making these dumb passes or anything like that, because obviously the defense is expecting the run. You can go play action, completely open up the field. Same thing for Jimmy Garoppolo. I do think he's a better decision maker, but not necessarily that big game guy, right? Well, all of a sudden, or big play guy, I should say, all of a sudden, you know, if the Steelers are biting on the run or anything like that, we could see Devontae Adams in a deep one, in a deep play, a big yardage play. So I like the idea that both of these running backs should have quite possibly the best game so far this season against either of these defenses. And that leads us into our player props here. So again, over 43 is our play, because I think the run game is going to open up the entire game, and I think we see a lot more points than people think in this game. Then in terms of our player props, we're looking at both running backs, Josh Jacobs and Najee Harris, to score a touchdown. We'll start with Jacobs here. Right now, anytime touchdown for him is -115 on most sportsbooks. We don't have a odds for his rushing touchdown yet, as we're recording this a couple days in advance, but I've seen +115 on some DFS apps and whatnot, so I think we're looking at his rushing touchdown. Forget the anytime touchdown. That's not necessary with Josh Jacobs, especially when you're comparing -115 to +115. Again, using the odds jam tool, we can find that. How many receiving touchdowns did Josh Jacobs have last year? 0. What about the year before? 0. Year before? 0. Then the year before? 0. You know how many career receiving touchdowns this dude has? 0. So if you're going to take a Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown prop, you might as well go with the specific rushing touchdown prop, which sways the odds from, you know, -115 into plus money at +115. I'll update our final odds that we get with some of the sportsbooks that we have access to in the pinned comments, so you guys know what we're rolling with. But first play here is going to be Josh Jacobs anytime, rushing touchdown for right around +115 is what we've seen so far. Now, like I said, I think that this is just going to be a game where both guys go off. Najee Harris also very much due. I'm looking at him for +155 over on DraftKings, compared to BetMGM, Caesars, FanDuel sitting right around -125 or +125, +135. You're getting like a quarter of value there on DK. So I'm looking at him to also be able to go out there and score. That is anytime touchdown. We know he can be a threat out of the backfield as well. So right now, those two player props, rushing touchdowns for Jacobs, and then an anytime touchdown for Najee Harris. And then in terms of game picks, we have the Raiders covering, and then that total, we're looking at the over 43. Again, I think this is going to be a run, big pass play type of a game, okay? I think that these defenses, while Pittsburgh has that like, oh, we're a good defensive team, and then the Raiders have, we're a gritty team, like that mindset, right? And that sort of, tie to them and conception. I do think that both these defenses have some holes in them, especially when it comes to stopping the run. Regardless if Jacobs has gone off or Najee Harris has gone off or hasn't this season, both those guys are uber talented, right? Like Josh Jacobs, a powerful runner. You can give it to him first, second down. He could probably get you a first down, especially against the Steelers defense. Najee Harris, even with Jaylen Warren, looking pretty good. Like, I think this is the game for him to get right. He's been kind of a letdown so far this season. So give me both running backs to perform. I think that's going to, 1, help the total, and 2, both these guys put one in the end zone. And then I just like the Raiders overall as a team slightly more than Pittsburgh. But that is going to do it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. And we will catch you guys in the next video, all right? Peace out.